Hey, good morning, everybody. It's time now for Putnam County Today here on 94.3 WREB. With us, John Dittmer with Beyound Homeless Incorporated here in Putnam County and the Green Castle area. And John, pleasure to have you on today.
It's good to be here.
Let's talk a little bit about what the shelter's doing. Maybe give us a little background on it, and then we'll talk about kind of what you guys are needing and looking forward into 2015.
Sure. We got started again in April of this year, and we are a shelter for homeless women and children. And to date, over the past 8 months, we have sheltered 82 women and 38 children. Now, we're not ignoring men, although we do not have a men's shelter.
Right.
And we have provided 11 nights of motels rental for men and helping them then to get back on their feet too. But primarily we're a women and children shelter.
All right. Are you guys seeing a increase or decrease as far as the number of homeless people here in Putnam County?
Well, we had a surprising number of women and kids coming in the summer when it was warmer. Now that it's getting colder, the demand is greater, and we have been pretty near capacity over the last month or so.
All right. And I guess you need to tell people where you're located and how, if they need shelter, how they go about that.
Okay, we are at 309 East Franklin Street. For those of you who've been around for a while, that used to be the old IGA store.
Right.
And people can come by there, or they can call us at our number. And but best just to come by if they need help. We have had referrals from other agencies, from the ministers in the town and the county who have been very supportive. And I should point out that this is a shelter for the entire county. This is not just a Greencastle operation.
Right. And you guys, I know you've taken needed some supplies and different things. Some of the church groups have come in and helped too, right?
We have first of all, I want to say something about our director who should be here, but Tanis Mundy is suffering from this terrible flu bug that's going around, so I'm pinch hitting for her. Tanis, as some of you know, her previous position was as director of the Putnam County Museum.
Right. And
she has come on and hit the ground running and has a staff. We have a minimum staff, and that's something else that we are really making use of every dollar we have. But we have about 35 volunteers who come in and do a number of things. They cook meals, they play with the kids. I volunteer on Sunday morning to open up the shelter, and it gives us volunteers a good idea to see what's really happening inside, and it's very exciting.
Right. And of course, you're always looking for different supplies and stuff too.
Yeah, we are, and that is always welcome. People volunteer food. Some people bring in meals, all kinds of things. What we really need now is money. We need, cash donations, and so we are going to be mounting a fundraising drive this month, before Christmas, and even though we are operating on a minimum budget, when you have a shelter that is housing people 24 hours a day, it takes a lot of resources to keep it up and going.
Now, I don't think a lot of people, I guess it's kind of a cliche, they think of the shelter and, it's just where people go and, be lazy. But you guys actually, there's a worksheet or different worksheets, and you're actually trying to help them get out of the shelter, right?
Yeah, that's a very good point. The slang expression is we offer more than 3 hots and a cot.
Exactly.
This just isn't room and board. And Tanis and her staff, first of all, have put our residents in touch with various local agencies dealing with financial management, with health, with mental health, child raising, all these things. But also, we are very much interested in assisting our residents in getting work and getting their own places. I mean, this is if we had people who were staying for 6 or 8 months, we wouldn't be successful. The idea is to get them back into mainstream society as productive members of our community. And Tanis and her staff have done a wonderful job with that. For example, a third of our residents have found employment while they were at the shelter. and we give them help in filling out resumes, in searching the internet and the newspapers for ads. So we are doing a lot more than simply putting them up for the night.
And I think that's a big difference between you and some of the other shelters, that are around the area. You're actually trying to get them moved out of the shelter and back on their financial foot.
Yeah, that's the whole purpose of it. And so when we lose a client, why, it's usually a very good thing.
Right.
That they are out on their own, and what's more, they have a lot more confidence than they have when they come in. I mean, a shelter is a last resort for folks. Many of them have been, they lost their jobs, they got sick, they've been living with relatives, going around from place to place. The thing about Greencastle is it's not like Bloomington or Indianapolis, and you don't see people out on the street sitting down asking for a handout. But what you do have is a lot of proud people who are having a really, really tough time. For example, I think most folks don't know that at the last count, 82 students in the Greencastle system were officially registered as homeless.
Really?
Now that doesn't mean they're all living under bridges,
Right.
but it means they're bouncing around from one relative to another, couch surfing, doing everything they can to get a roof over their heads. And of course, if you're a kid in school, this is very, very difficult to do and to function well as a student. So having that address, having a place where people can come every night, having the bus that's going to pick up their kids and take them to school, that's a real benefit for everybody, I think.
So can you share a little bit about the fundraising that you're going to be doing this month?
Well, we're going to be sending out a general letter to people, and we're having a couple of fundraising events that will be talked about and advertised in the paper. If people want to make individual contributions, why, they can send them to us at Beyound Homeless Incorporated, or BHI. That's 309 not Anderson Street, but Franklin Street in Greencastle, 46135. And we have a list of just what your contributions will buy. And if you don't mind,
sure,
I just, for example, $25 will house an individual for one night. $100 a resident for a week. And for $1,000 contribution, and these are the kinds of contributions that we really appreciate. We appreciate them all. But for $1,000, why, you can house a family in our shelter for an entire month.
Wow.
So you can see, unlike other fancy fundraising drives where a lot of it goes to overhead, why, this goes directly into assisting the people that we have. So for $1,000, then you can have the satisfaction of having housed a family for a month, getting them all the services that we can provide.
Right, which is quite a few.
Yeah, and we're always increasing. We have people coming in, they're volunteering to give Zumba classes. They are having musicians are coming in and working with children and adults. A whole lot is going on inside.
All right. And the best way to find out what's going inside, of course, you've got a Facebook page, but you can always stop by, right?
Exactly. We are open from 9 to 5, 5 days a week. We have staff on hand in the evenings, but we welcome people to come by and just take a look. They've done a lot of remodeling since we moved in. Jerry Lewis, the contractor, has been crucial to our development in terms of having the facility looking really nice.
All right. Well, John, we appreciate you taking time to be with us today.
Well, thank you very much. I was glad to be here.
All right. And of course, we wish Tanis to get better too.
Yes, I think so. If you're out there, Tanis, take care of yourself.
Exactly. Don't forget, if you're a nonprofit group or a community organization, you'd like some free airtime here on WREB, you too could be a part of Putnam County Today. Give us a call at 653-9717.